Hello, Katie's Kids families. I am here today to share with you some of the changes that I have been implementing in our classroom at daycare. So one of the first things is that I have removed rewards and punishments, and I am working to create a loving school family. And I'd like to read a short excerpt from the book Creating the School Family to explain what the reason is behind removing rewards and punishment. The most potent single cause of bullying is a negative peer group climate. Every classroom and every school has a school climate that is integrally linked to the school's motivation system. A reward and punishment motivation system generally relies on externally applied tangible consequences. These systems include treasure boxes, stickers, marks on the board, token systems, apples falling from a tree, and traffic lights that change colors. In these systems, we impose artificial external consequences for meeting or not meeting the class rules. The external consequences set the behavioral expectations. Reward and punishment systems are based on the teacher judging the child's behavior to be good or bad, then delivering loot for the good behavior and losses for the bad behavior. This creates a competitive culture of haves and have-nots. To get attention in this system, you must be exceptional good or exceptionally bad. The remaining children are basically invisible. Think back to your school days. Were you the good, the bad, or the invisible child? How did that feel for you? This segregated system of good kids and bad kids also creates a segregated value system. The bad children are treated with one set of skills and values, while the good kids are treated with another set. We unconsciously set up a mental model that says if we can define a child as bad or weird or different, then we can justify treating him or her poorly. It is okay to publicly humiliate bad kids by putting their names on the board, moving their clips, and so on. It's okay to call them names, either actually or implied. What's the matter with you? Don't you understand the rules? Example, are you too stupid to understand the rules? It's okay to exclude them by sending them to timeout or forcing them to miss recess. And in many states, it is okay to physically paddle them. Reward and punishment unconsciously encourages adults to model bullying behavior. One day, I overheard my nephew being verbally aggressive with his friends. I asked what was going on. Out of his mouth popped words modeled on my own behavior. I asked nicely twice, and then I had to start yelling. Ouch, that one hurt. But it was a very powerful lesson for me. I had been unconsciously modeling, do what I say when I say it, and you will be treated with respect and dignity. If not, bullying is a reasonable tool for me to use against you. Conscious discipline is relationship-based and utilizes the school family for its motivational system. Students' motivation to behave comes from the internal pleasure they have when they help others, feel cared for, and experience the joy of thriving in a culture that offers safety and positive regard. It also comes from the natural internal angst they feel when they treat others poorly or do not contribute their part to the whole. Children in a school family are motivated by the 4 C's: caring, connection, contribution, and conflict resolution. If a child in a reward and punishment classroom shoves another student in line, he might lose points, miss recess, or lose a trip to the treasure box. In a relationship and problem-solving classroom, the child would experience the impact of his behavior on others. The teacher would coach the victim to say, I don't like it when you shove me. Please walk slowly behind me in line. If the child has a relationship with the student he shoved, he may feel a tinge of angst for his hurtful actions. This hint of internal discomfort generates a willingness to see and do things differently. The result is a willingness to learn new skills. The shover might be coached. You wanted him to walk faster. You may not shove. When you want him to go faster, say, please move up closer to the others. We're too far back in line. When we coach children to resolve conflicts respectfully, we enhance and activate the higher centers of their brain. And that's one thing that I have been working a lot with the kids, is on coaching them through situations. So when two children are playing, one has a toy and the other one takes the toy away, I go to the child, the victim, the one that got their toy taken away, and I say, did you like it? And they say no. And I say, okay. Tell the other child, I don't like it when you take my toy. Give it back. And then I work through with the other child. If they're not willing to give it back or whatever, I will coach them through it and help them, and I will give them choices. Okay, either you can choose to hand the child the toy back gently, or Katie will hand it back. And most of the time when I give them that option, then they'll hand it back because they know that they need to do that. In hitting situations, it's the same thing. If one child hits another child, I go to the victim and talk to them and say, did you like it when they hit you? And they'll say no. And I'm like, okay, tell the other, use your big voice. We talk about using your big voice. It's also your assertive voice. And it's modeling using assertive language. And so I help the child use their big voice and say, I don't like it when you hit me. If you want a toy, put out your hand and say, may I have a toy, please? And then I'll coach the other child that did hit, and I'll say, when you want something, or if you don't like what they're doing, you need to use your big voice. We don't hit. We use gentle touches. We use our words. A few things go into creating the school family. The basis of the school family, the ground floor, needs to be safety and love. Children need to know that they are safe and that they are loved unconditionally. So that's where we have our safekeeper ritual, which I've done a video on. And I talk with them throughout the day that my job is to keep them safe and their job is to help keep daycare safe. Another really important thing is love, and part of how they feel love is connection. And when we make eye contact and touch and bring the different senses in when we are interacting with children, that is how they feel loved. So, and seeing them. So when they say, Mom, look at me, and they jump off the climber, or to me, they'd say, Katie, look at me, and they jump off the climber, rather than saying, good job, we'd say, wow, you jumped off the climber with both your feet and you landed like this, or whatever. And you're going to mirror back what you see and tell them what you see. Because what children want is to be seen. One way that I am working to create connections is this morning we started our greeting. So when they come in the morning, they get to choose if they want a snake greeting or a peekaboo greeting. And the snake greeting, we just wrap our arms around and I look at them in the eye and say good morning. And then the peekaboo is just peekaboo and say good morning. Another way that we're creating connections are through I love you rituals. Dr. Becky Bailey, the creator of Conscious Discipline, has a book called I Love You Rituals that has tons of different rituals. A lot of them are remakes of nursery rhymes that we learned as kids growing up, but she just twists it a little bit. So like the old woman who lived in the shoe, she had too many children, she didn't know what to do. So she changes the words and makes them into loving and caring words and has little actions and things to go along so that you're creating those connections. When you create connections with your child, you are helping them create connections in their brain. I am going to make these little cards with some I love you rituals and send them home with each of the kids so that you can do them at home. And I made a separate video with the kids this morning that has the actions going along with each of the I love you rituals. So you and the kids could watch that video together and then do the I love you rituals together. It can be done at bedtime or throughout the day, anytime that you just want to create that connection with your child. Another thing that conscious discipline teaches is that what we view as misbehavior is actually communication. So when your child is hitting you or acting out in some way, shoving their sibling or whatever, what they're really doing is saying, I need you, I'm missing something, I need connection. On Friday last week, I had a child that came in from outside and I had told the kids, put your shoes in your cubby and then go wash your hands and then you can play while I get lunch ready. This child came in, they left their shoes on the floor, they didn't go wash their hands, and they went over and laid on the couch. It was their day to help make lunch, and I went to them and said, I need you to put your shoes away and then you can come help me make lunch, and they did not want to do that. So I went on with making lunch, and as I was in the kitchen, all of a sudden I heard puzzles dropping from the puzzle rack. One by one, the puzzles were crashing onto the floor. I gently grabbed the rack and set it in the kitchen, and then I went around the shelf to the child that was laying on the couch. They were snuggled up with their stuffy, and I just went over and I said, are you having a tough day? Are you feeling sad? And they kind of nodded, and I just sat with them and held space for their emotions and just let them feel sad. I said, it's okay to be sad. It's okay to cry. And I just sat with them. And after a few minutes, I said, do you want to go over to the rocking chair and do a few I love you rituals? And immediately they perked up. We went over to the rocking chair. I said, we can do 2 or 3 I love you rituals, and then I need to go to the kitchen. They picked 3. We did 3, and when we got done, they were happy and ready to help me with lunch. And it was a beautiful example of how seeing that behavior and not jumping to punish and say, we don't knock puzzles down, go pick those up. Rather than responding that way, I saw it as, I need help, I need connection. And I connected with that child, and it turned out beautifully. Another part of the school family is jobs. Jobs help us feel connected, and they give us a purpose, and they help us serve others. So I created a job board, which I am going to show you now. So on one side it says, I am a helper. On the other side, it says, I am part of the daycare family. So we have a circle time helper, safekeeper helper, carpet square helper, drummer, lunch and breakfast helper, TV show picker, snack helper, and table wiper. And each child has their picture on a handprint, and they Velcro, and each day they get a new job to help with at daycare. Another way that we can help children is by giving them pictures. Think about, even for adults, when we go different places, there are pictures of what to do and what comes next. And for children, it can be scary to not know what the plan is or what we're going to do. So one of the things that I created is a picture schedule, and I will show. I'll back up a little. So this is our daily schedule. We have playtime when we arrive, breakfast, circle time, snack time, outside or playtime, lunch, TV time, nap time, snack time, and then another time for outside or playtime. I'll have kids ask me throughout the day, Katie, when are we going to go outside? Or when are we going to have circle time? Or when is lunchtime? And I'll say, oh, let's go look at our schedule. And together we'll go over and we'll go through it together and we'll point to the pictures and we'll talk about what's going to happen next. And the kids love it and it's really helpful. Last week on Friday, the kids were acting pretty crazy and out of control. And I sat them all down and I put up a big sheet of white paper on the wall. And I said, how can we be helpful at daycare? And they shouted out 3 things. Don't hit, don't push, don't hurt other people. And I was like, okay, so what do we do instead? How do we help? And it was crickets. We think that kids know what they're supposed to do, but we need to teach them what to do. And so one thing that I'm learning is that I need to rephrase the way I talk to the children. So rather than saying, don't hit, we don't hit our friends, I'll say, oh, you wanted this. Let's talk through how we use our big voice. Put out your hand. Say, may I have a turn, please? And we talk through the scenario and I teach them how to use their big voice, how to be assertive. So I helped the kids. We talked through different ways to be helpful. And then I had them act some of them out so I could take pictures. Because again, children learn through pictures. Humans learn through pictures. I created a poster and 2 books that I'm going to show you now. This is our Ways to Be Helpful poster. At the top, it says, we share our toys with our friends. We tap our friend on the shoulder gently, say their name, and wait for them to look. We use our words and say, may I have a turn? We help wipe the table and keep things clean. We go to the active calming center when we are angry or activated. We give hugs. We put toys away at cleanup time. We hang up our coat and put our shoes away in our cubby. We help our friends put on their shoes or color. We sit on the carpet squares at circle time. We sing along when Katie sings, or choose to keep our mouth quiet when Katie is singing, talking, or reading. This is our book, Ways to Be Helpful at Daycare. We breathe and go to the active calming center when we feel angry or activated. We help put toys away where they go at cleanup time. We give hugs and we use gentle touches with our friends. We tap our friend on the shoulder gently, say their name, and wait for them to look. We use our words and say, may I have a turn? We share toys with our friends. We help a friend color or put on their shoes. We hang up our coat and put our shoes away in our cubby. We sit crisscross applesauce at circle time on the carpet squares. We sing along when Katie sings or choose to keep our mouth quiet when Katie is singing, talking, or reading. We stand with hands by our sides at the gate. We help wash the table and keep things clean at daycare. We keep our feet on the ground outside. We keep rocks on the ground outside. We keep sand in the sandbox outside. Our other book is Daycare Rules. So I did pictures of what I want them to do and what they are not supposed to do. And we always focus on what we want first. So this one says we sit, lay, or jump off the side of the couch. We do not sit or stand on the back of the couch. We hold toys in our hands and pretend. Toys do not go in our mouth. We hold stuffies and other toys in our hands. We do not throw stuffies or other toys in the air. We climb, stand, and slide on the climber. We do not lift up the slide. Boxes are for toys. Boxes are not for kids. When you want a toy, tap your friend on the shoulder and say their name. When they look at you, put out your hand and say, "May I have a turn, please?" We do not take toys. We do not hit other people. Our cup or water bottle sits on the table gently or lifts to our mouth for drinking. We do not bang our cup or water bottle, smash food on the table, or lay it on its side. We sit on couches and chairs at daycare. We do not sit on the window. When Katie is singing, talking, or reading a book, we keep our mouth quiet or we sing along. If we have a question, we wait until Katie is done and then ask. We play the drum gently with the sticks sideways at circle time. We do not bang on the drum. We do not play the drum with the sticks up and down. We sit crisscross applesauce on our carpet square at circle time. We do not touch other people or their instrument. We stand by the gate with our hands by our sides. We do not touch or shake the gate. We do not touch or squish other people. We keep our feet on the ground when we are playing outside. We do not stand on the wall. We do not climb on the wall. We sit on the bench at the picnic table. We do not sit on the table. Rocks stay on the ground, in the trucks, or on the gray slide. Rocks do not go on the wood. We do not throw rocks. Rocks do not go on the purple, yellow, or blue slide. Rocks do not go on the grass. We ride inside the cars at daycare. We do not ride on top of the cars. Sand stays in the sandbox. Sand does not go in the cars. Sand does not go on the patio. We put coats and shoes in our cubbies. Coats and shoes do not go on the ground. Thank you for taking the time to watch and listen to this video. If you have other questions for me, or if you want help creating some of these things at home, please let me know. I am more than happy to print things out for you, make picture schedules or picture rules for you to use at home, make books, talk through scenarios that you're encountering with your kids at home and problem solve. I would love to help support you all throughout the summer. And I'm always just a text or phone call or email away. And one other thing, I am working on noticing. What we focus on, we get more of. So if we continually focus on the negatives, we are going to get more negatives. But when we can see the positives and we can see, oh, Bobby, I saw you help your friend, or I saw you pick up the toy and put it in the box and I didn't even ask you to do that, or I saw you push your friend on the swing. That was really helpful. So I'm looking for helpful acts and I am letting the children know that I see them. And one way that we are keeping track of that collectively as the group is called our kindness tree. Our kindness tree is on the wall next to the ways to be helpful so that they know the helpful things that they can do to get to put a heart on the kindness tree. And so I just have little laminated hearts and Velcro, and we just Velcro them on. And when the tree fills up, we take the hearts off and put them back in the envelope. And the kids are really excited when they get to put a heart on the tree. If having a kindness tree at home is something that you would like, let me know. I can make one for you, and then you can use it at home with your kids also. Thanks again for watching this video.